Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Rambat. I am your host, the always controversial Radical. What I'm going to do in this video is kind of show you guys what went on at Kill Event last night, and we're going to have some fun with this one. So let's bring up the battle reports. I got hit by FU. Kind of ironic because I kind of FU'd them. But let's get into it. This fucking dumbass tried to hit me last night. He got owned. As you can tell, I got his hero from the hit. Did not do him any favors. And this is what he sent. All T4 with one small march of T3. Not a good showing for him at all. This was their second guy, probably to assume one of their bigger hitters. He actually hits pretty good. I'll give him credit where credit is due. He knocked out my beds and even wound up killing traps and killed a couple troops in the process. So I'll give him a little props on that one. But in the end, when you look at what was killed, I still by far outnumbered him with the points and power loss. So again, with this one, it was again all T4 except one march of T3. And if I remember right, I do believe those Cretan Stingers were just siege to kill my traps. So I mean, again, I'll give them credit there. At least they were putting siege in their march to go through some of the traps. That was actually kind of smart. Well played. But in the end, numbers-wise, again, I kind of took that one. This was one where I didn't get a chance to do any healing or repairing any traps. This guy was just trying to take advantage of an already wounded stronghold base, whatever you want to call it. In the end, he wound up with, I think, a little better numbers on this one. I do believe he was all T8, and I was all T4. Again, he was mostly T8, just 12,000. Or he was all T4 with just 12,000 T3. When you break it down numbers-wise, T4s give up 8 points, T3 are going to give up 4 points, so it's basically a 2-to-1 ratio. In the end, this one was actually, fairly close of a hit or a battle, but he got the better on that one. But considering I had already taken 2 by large margins, you know what, it's not that bad. I'll definitely take it. Now let's break it down numbers-wise. For those of you who don't understand how those all work, let's go here. So these were my kills, my total losses after everything went to bed in traps, 463. When you multiply that by 4, you come out with, what was it, 1.8. So that was what I lost. When you multiply it by 4, it'll be around 1.8 million, if I remember right. Yeah, 1.85. So that's what I gave up in that little contest. Now, when you look at what they lost a total of 360,000. Now, I even went as far to figure out how much was T3, how much was T4. That's actually what I did down here. They were a total of 54,200 T3. So that's... so with that said, that is what they were left with T4. Now, if you multiply that by 8, boom, that's already over 2 million, 2.2 million. And that's not counting the T3. Now, when you figure that by the T3, which I wound up doing... right here. Oh, not there. So with that said, they were 54 total million T3. 54,200 if I remember correctly. So those would have been multiplied by 4. And I wind up with 2.428. So you're looking at, 2.4 mil to 1.8 mil. That means I beat them by a third of their numbers, 33%. Considering T3 are 25% weaker than T4, I would say that's a pretty darn good showing. To prove my point here, you go into here, you look at any troop. This is a T3 troop right there. Their attack, their armor, and hit points are 3. And when you look at the same for T4s, doesn't matter what troops you do, their stars are 4. That means 4 is 25% stronger than 3. That's kind of how that breaks down. So you're looking at over a 50% swing in my favor in terms of that battle. Now let's break it down even farther and talk about the power that was lost in this ordeal. First, we're going to go check to see what powers, ratings, everything are. So T3 Cretan Stingers are going to be 9 power, and all other T3 troops, it doesn't matter, are going to be 6 power. Boom. T4 troops are going to be at a total of 8 power. So troops alone, it's a difference of 2 power a troop. With the Cretan Stingers, you're losing even more. So from that standpoint, let's go find my total losses again here, which was 463. You multiply, because mine were pretty much all infantry is what I wound up losing. So they would have been 6 total power. So I lost a total of 2.7 million. You know what? Big deal. I'll take it. This is what they lost. And, nope. Yeah. This is what they lost in... Where was it? No, not that. That's what I'm... This is what they lost in T3, or that was points. Let me find the number here. There we go. So this is what they lost in total. 54,200 was T3. So this was their T4. You multiply that by 8. Just on T4 alone, they lost 2.2 mil. And then when you figure in the T4, which, if I remember right, was all siege, that was 9 power. So they lost 487 on top of that. In terms of power loss, it was pretty even. I want to say it would have been slightly in my favor. Again, you're talking about T3 losses against T4 losses. It's a lot harder and takes more resources to get T4s back. So again, down the end of it, I won the power battle. I won the points battle. Maybe gave up a little more troops, but it's a war game. Troops are trained to wind up being used and killed. I don't give a fuck. So with that said, going back here to prove my point that, yes, I am a certified badass. There you go. That's what I scored point-wise. And between, what was it, 4 or 5 of them, they shared 1.8 mil. Who got the better? I'll let you guys decide. But if you liked the video, feel free to, give it a like. As always, I will catch you in the next one. Until then, peace out.